All right, North-South Connection, YouTube. We are here live with my buddy Mike Rossi, fresh off the Providence and UConn game. Mike embracing his live with my buddy. Mike embracing it. It was open. Mike embracing his dark side. Rossi, hell of a main event, hell of a pay-per-view, and a hell of a go-home angle. Overall thoughts coming out of the Elimination Chamber.
Well, they finally fucking did it, right? We've been waiting what feels like 15 years for the Cena turn, and there was plenty of goofiness that was going on around Cena throughout the night that kind of threw the scent off for me. I mean, my radar should have been up, but when he hugged Cody and that facial expression he gave, it was like, all right, we're fucking on.
Yeah, it felt like that Cena overacting that's been going on for way too long, right? He's this excellent movie star actor now, and then when he comes to WWE, he's just such a cornball in the ring. And I felt that all that was playing in and built in, and the crescendo of that tonight really was the icing on the cake of that. It felt like a setup all along, a beautiful setup that just worked out perfectly, and they played their cards right and they delivered.
Yeah, man. I mean, even if you think back to how Cena got into the chamber, it makes a lot more sense now. And that line in the Rumble post show when he said, "I'm doing what's best for business," you know, he probably saw what happened with The Rock last year when he did the heel turn and said, "You know what? This is the best way to do this, and let's roll."
Yep. And if we go Justin on the NoSo Connection account here, ever heard of it? On par with 96 Hogan. Yeah, I agree. They got their own little NWO. Travis Scott is your Dennis Rodman. He's the worm. And we're going to cook. Let's hit Travis Scott real quick. Is he going to be around? Like, was that just a one-night thing? What was that?
Was he actually burning sage in the corner? I'd actually looked at it.
It was something. Yeah, it was.
I don't know what he was trying to do when he was grabbing Cody by the head. That was kind of weird.
Felt like he kind of misplaced where he was, forgot the spot, or because like The Rock was just like, or what are you doing? Like back up.
Yeah.
Cena was like, all right, get in the right place there, idiot. Right. So, yeah, it was excellent. You know, kudos to Cena playing along, and kudos for them to go to it. Triple H saying industry changing leading into this night, and John Cena turning heel first time.
He was not bullshitting. He was not bullshitting this time for sure.
Travis has to be at WrestleMania now, plus using the song. Yeah, it was.
So before we get too deep into the show, my first inclination is who helps Cody?
Who is Travis Scott beefing with in the rap world?
Yeah, Drake was in the front row. He could have had a big babyface turn. Did it work?
Yeah, yeah, right. I don't know, man. That's interesting, right? Roman makes sense, but I think he's going to be occupied.
Yeah. That sure seemed like they went with that direction, but we'll get into it.
Yeah, but overall, it wasn't prolonged. It crescendoed at the right point. The energy was hot coming off the main event. I love how it rolled right into it. As well, just perfect timing. And The Rock didn't stay long. He got all of his bullshit out of the way the week before on SmackDown, and we just rocked and rolled right into it. Justin here. Cena wins, runs SummerSlam as champ. Rock kicks him out. Redemption tour until December. Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, this is, from the looks of it, I doubt that this is one Cody Cena match. This is such a major angle. This is going to be going for a couple months.
All right, how often will we see The Rock leading into WrestleMania?
I mean, they're out of the country a lot, aren't they?
Yeah, all of end of March for sure.
So
I have to tour, I think.
I mean, it's not like The Rock getting there's a problem, but I can't see it being more than maybe once or twice, and then maybe he'll be on like the Go Home and Raw and SmackDown. Who knows? They could do this on either show. I tend to think it's going to be more Netflix, but
no doubt. All right, so leading into that moment of it. Oh, first of all, Mike Rossi, go fuck yourself. That moment right there has been overshadowed and feels like forever ago coming out of this. Unreal moment for Cody. Street cred, gusto, coolness, like
Massive pop.
not even like a shit, bitch, nothing of that. Straight to the go fuck yourself.
Oh yeah.
Was to awesome, awesome build, awesome delivery, and really making swearing count. Like kudos to them, they delivered, and that was like a legit shocker.
Yeah, like when he did that, like you're immediately thinking, oh, we're not getting any sort of turn tonight, too, because that was such like a iconic moment. You know what I mean? For that to happen in the WWE ring with 35, 36,000 people, whatever they had there. And then Cena celebrating in the background, it felt like, all right, well, if we're gonna do a turn, we'll do it at Mania. But 30 seconds later, here we go.
Yeah, that felt like the pop. That felt like the moment where it was there. So interesting. So we're leading back. What is going to be the moment where The Rock and Cena came together? Is it going to be because last year Cena helped The Rock in the WrestleMania main event, and The Rock took out Cena, so it couldn't go to there. So where did it happen? Did it happen after the Royal Rumble? Is that where he kind of where do they connect these dots?
Yeah, I mean, the one thing that we'll say is I completely trust Cena with a heel promo. I think that they're gonna come up with something and it'll be explained well. But yeah, I mean, going into the Rumble, maybe even because if he wins it, that's a title shot, and then Rock doesn't have to do the charade with Cody. But at the same time, I keep going back to him saying, "Well, I'm in the chamber. I'm calling my spot." Like nobody else had a chance to do that. And yes, he's John Cena, but when he's got one of the directors of the board in his back pocket, he can say that without repercussion. You know what I mean? So I think we have to go back right around to maybe right around the Rumble, right? In kayfabe, right?
Yeah, I wonder. I just want to connect those dots. I think there was always an underline of like respect that they can go to, and then Cena with his tone coming out of the Royal Rumble, where he's like happy for Jay, but he's also kind of dejected, feel rejected, let himself down, let the fans, not even let the fans down, and that where he kind of turns selfish and whatever, and says that I'm doing this for myself, right? Pretty much. And I don't, whatever. Look at this iconic picture here, Mike. This is just going to be a picture of epic proportion historically, right? And you knew the shit was going down when The Rock had his like a little pajamas / nightclub gear or whatever the fuck outfit he had on. He had the final Boston tire on, and here he was
Yeah.
ready to rock and roll. So
Yeah. Cena and Travis Scott were like immediately chumming it up in the corner too. Now that you look back at it.
mm-hmm. All right, gun to your head right now. Leaving WrestleMania 41, John Cena, your world champ.
I think he's got to be because then he breaks the record as a heel. That puts even more heel heat on him. I just at this point to do this angle and not do the title change would kind of kill this angle. You know what I mean? So, especially because like when I said who would help Cody, it doesn't seem like he's gonna have a fit of who would help him until maybe the rematch, maybe a SummerSlam match. I mean, SummerSlam's a MetLife on 2 nights too. They're gonna need to have a massive main event for that too. So yeah, I mean, I think Cena's gotta win now.
I think we overcome it, and then Cena can, like I think Justin said earlier, you can always have Cena return face. And I think we just go through this roller coaster with John Cena of all the month of March, and I think he comes up short, and then he kind of finds himself in this is just like a intermediate turn, and then coming out of it, he kind of finds himself. Everyone rallies behind him, and he still goes out on top in Boston. That's how I would do it. But in the now, here and now, I think this is an iconic move, all-time run, and it's only going to be 6-7 weeks, but I'm here for it. I think it's going to rule.
The interesting part too is if they go back to Cena as a babyface for the tail end of the run, well, how do they get there? Like, does him and Rock like have a divide? Should they have a match? Would it just be Rock then setting the bar high for Cena as far as an opponent goes? There's a lot of different things that they can still do. This is just the opening bar,
Mm. All right, let's talk about the dap up and then them instantly locking eyes and they getting Cody in a vulnerable state. You said that, like, he's not Sting. He's not the stupidest baby face in the world, right? He's gonna have to have some gusto behind him, and he's gonna have to know that the bullets are gonna be flying at WrestleMania. The reason I bring this up is because he got caught. He's not gonna get caught at WrestleMania. He needs to align himself. I brought up Roman. I'm not sure if it fits. We've been on for 10 minutes. Has anything sunk in your head that we can get
the only thing that I can think about is if they make Punk Reigns and Rollins like a number one contenders match. You know what I mean? Which, again, I don't like that at a Mania, but
you're not talking about like night 1 into night 2, are you?
No, but I'm saying, like, okay, Reigns knows he's got the winner of this match somewhere down the road, so that kind of gives him a reason to involve himself, because the way him and The Rock left on the first Raw on Netflix was pretty amicable. Like, he gave him the Ula Fowler, and that was it. So, I mean, it's all going to come back to how that stuff gets built. If that becomes, Cena, even when he choked out Punk, he was saying, "I'm sorry." Punk is just the guilty figure here. So there's a lot of bullshit that they can put together, really, when you think about it. How a guy like Punk could be someone that helps Cody, he said he was his friend. They made that abundantly clear over time. So if you do that triple threat to maybe main event night 1, whoever wins that, or whoever's coming strong coming out of that, might be the one to kind of, throw a circle into a square peg to kind of help at the main event on night 2. Or, it's 2-year Mania arcs or something that happens often, right? Maybe this is just Cody getting one-upped and he gets beat, he loses his title, he has a long 1-year run that just ends, and then he just has to wait a whole year to get his comeuppance over, maybe The Rock himself, or maybe whoever Rock's next handpicked guy is after Cena,
Yeah. Chad here. I think Cena for sure will be babyface by the end of the run. I agree, Chad.
He's got to be. Because
I think he'll be babyface by May.
Yeah,
and I'm fine with that.
SummerSlam the latest. Yeah, SummerSlam the absolute latest, right?
Yeah, I feel that Cody isn't going to lose to Cena. I still think that Cody is going to be quite all right. And I think that the chase is the money for Cena all year. And him selling his soul to The Rock is a part of the journey. And just to show his desperation, it's been 21 years since he's been a bad guy. Like, that's incredible, right? So, and to build all that equity and cash in, it was exciting. It was well done. And even though there was tea leaves, it's still shocking and awesome.
Does Cena come back as Thugonomics rapper now? Boys with Travis Scott.
I have Travis Scott just juice up some whatever. Honestly, is there a younger star out there that they can throw in this corporate world of whatever they got going on here that would get some juice from it? Like, why not? Who could get this rub? As you think.
Yeah.
Trent Williams here. How's it going, guys? Hot damn, what a finish to the chamber. We're with you, Trent. Awesome. Surprising.
And I'm automatically thinking, like, is there like a baby face, like, rapper musician that?
Yeah, I asked my son, and they were like, I was like, who's Travis Scott's beef with? And they said Kanye, but they were like, it's not going to be Kanye. And I don't fucking know.
Bad Bunny.
Man, that'd be cool. That would be cool. Don't worry. And Trent, by the way, Trent, we have not mentioned Alexa Bliss, so you're good there. Get ready for that one. Stay on for that, Trent. We're getting there. But yeah, overall, 10 of a 10. And honestly, there's not much like roadblocks to get there. Cena wins the chamber. Cody's music hits. Cena's still quirky and dorky, right? They embrace
overly quirky and dorky.
Yes.
Overly.
which playing into which is
but
annoying.
That's what he's been. Like, that's what he's been for his last 5 runs,
Yeah, for sure. And then the Rocks, they embrace, do the point, like, yay, WrestleMania, woohoo. And then the Rock's music hits, transition into Travis Scott, which is like, oh shit, they said he's going to be here. And then the final boss shows up, and then they get like the cool remix. He comes to the ring. We don't have too much like prolonged bullshit. We get the embrace, and then instantly it was a setup. It was an awesomely beautiful setup. The two rivals locked eyes, and it's on. It's really, really well done. It's like so many tea leaves were there, and all the tea leaves led to John Cena, and you feel even stupid. You fucking marks for thinking it's going to be Drew McIntyre. This John, I was a little bit there too as well. I'm the biggest mark of us all, but I don't give a fuck. I don't care. It's moments like this, angles like that is why we watch and why we get invested and why we go around texting our buddies with all the bullshit, all the scenarios and so on and so forth. Moments like that, it was awesome.
Yeah, like when the Drew stuff first came out a couple days, which that Featherstone guy's taking a big time L because he did that very matter of factly when he announced that on Thursday or whenever it was. But when that came out, it immediately, like, you had to think at that point as the viewer, do I believe this or do I believe that either Cena or Cody is going to turn heel? Like, you had to kind of make a fork in the road decision at that point, because obviously with the Rock involvement, somebody was going to end up turning heel, whether it was now or at Mania, right? So when Cena wins, the natural inclination is, okay, the turn's either going to happen now or the turn's going to happen in a month and a half. I personally thought it would be in a month and a half, right? It just didn't seem like, this was only Cena's, third time on TV since he's been back. But I guess at the end of the day, that's the perfect time to do it.
Yeah, all the big jump up events. All right, Andy, our buddy Andy Atherton here. I hope we get heel Cena versus face Punk at some point. Perhaps, right? Do you think, as he brings it up, do you think Punk was the backup plan, perhaps? And then when did The Rock throw his hat in the name? Are we all getting worked here, by the way, with that too? I'm totally fine with it as well. Like with all the backstage politics and bullshit,
right?
They of last year, they played into it this year, and they made it seem like The Rock overstepped and overpushed, and they had to rewrite SmackDown and all.
But they didn't, right? Like, they didn't. If you look at everything that was built tonight, we'll get into it, but if you look at everything that was built tonight, it's pretty much going to be the card we thought was going to happen coming out of the Rumble,
Yeah. So playing into all that stuff and so on and so forth, I don't feel like they're over here writing up scripts and throwing shit at the wall. I feel like The Rock was not in a wrestling capacity. And even back to when The Rock kind of said that I'm not going to wrestle this year. It's John's final year. Let's put the spotlight on him again.
Yeah.
Tea leaf to him. So overall, the final angle, 10 out of 10 for me, Mike. I thought it was excellent.
Yeah, I thought it was done really well. I also liked how they didn't do like a stretcher job with Cody or anything like that. They made it that
they already did.
We saw him walking out on his own. The beatdown didn't really warrant more than that. It was just a bloody moment, right? We're getting whipped by the Cody Soul belt with his dad's, pass away date on it. Just The Rock is just such a scumbag. You know what I mean? It was so beautifully done. And then Cody's not like beaten down and completely destroyed by it either. So, we get to hear his opinion on Monday or Friday, and then Cena will retort. I mean, Cena's got 32 dates left, I think, because he said he had 35 and he's 3 in. So we're going to get a lot of Cena between now and the end of the year, one way or the other. And I mean, you almost expect them full time now, right?
Yeah, I'm here for it. All right, but before we get to the Rock angle with Cody Rhodes to close the show, let's just go in reverse order because that probably makes the most sense. We had Drew McIntyre, Damian Priest, John Cena, CM Punk, Logan Paul, and Seth freaking Rollins in a 32-minute, 42-second Elimination Chamber match for the Undisputed Championship challenger at WrestleMania 41. First elimination, Drew McIntyre. My radar for John Cena or CM Punk went up vastly, and it was kind of confirmed that Damian Priest versus CM Punk, Damian Priest versus Drew McIntyre is your night 2 second match at WrestleMania 41. I really like how Priest eliminated Drew. at the Rumble and eliminated him here in the chamber because Drew's eyes are not focused on Damian Priest. His eyes are focused on bigger, grander things, but he has to kind of worry about the here and now in Damian Priest, who cashed in on him last year as well. So there's definitely some smoke there. I think they will go out there and have a nice, respectable 15-minute WrestleMania. Very good match.
Yeah, and like we talked about it at one point, like we were trying to bounce around ideas for Drew, and we always kept coming back to Drew's got to get a win at Mania, right? I mean, he got pinned quick and easy tonight. He's lost a couple times on TV. It feels like Drew will really probably get fully rehabbed coming out of Mania. So I think him beating Priest, who one-upped him last year, is a fun way to do it.
How about John Cena in The Rock bringing Drew McIntyre as that understudy?
Yeah, I mean, he's always screwed over. And then eventually when Cena loses the title, Drew can beat the piss out of him. Yeah. I mean, there's a handful of people you can use in that role. I'm not thinking about them much right now, but
yeah,
even like an Obafemi getting called up in a couple months could be something you could do with that. There's Breaker, there's a lot of shit you can do in that spot. I mean, if The Rock is being an advocate for somebody, like, he's going to be with Cena, he's going to you should use him to get other people over too,
Madcap Moss, bring him back. Like, it's a good spot.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. Sure.
All right. Drew was in the chamber for 13 minutes and 10 seconds. And then 45 seconds later, Damian Priest was eliminated by Logan Paul. Nice frog splash off the top of the pod of the chamber. Safe. Priest did his job. He came in third. He looked like a bat out of hell. He looked strong. He was in there not for the longest time, but he had a big elimination and then a super frog splash from the top of the pod to eliminate him. Good showing from Priest.
Yeah, he's reliable, man. He's whatever they need him to do, both as a heel and now as a baby, he's delivering on it. He's had a really good run, I think, on SmackDown since he's come over, and that's been surrounded by not a whole lot of good that SmackDown's had, despite them having a good episode last night, right? So I'm happy that Priest got a little bit of shine here. And, coming out of how he had Mania last year, leaving as a champion, you kind of had a little fear that he could get lost in the shuffle of this year's Mania card, but I'm happy to see that it's not going to happen.
Yes, for sure. So your first two out, Priest and Drew McIntyre. Fourth out here in the Elimination Chamber is Logan Paul, 18 minutes and 30 seconds into the match. Paul entered the chamber fourth. So eliminated third and fourth. Pretty
wasn't in the match long. Yeah, probably in the match less than 10 minutes, right?
Yeah, so he was at the 18-minute mark. He was eliminated. Overall, good showing. He's a shitbag. First of all, him coming out with the American flag. What if they happen to turn on Hulk Hogan's music? My buddy did text me that. It's a little bit too much heat for me, brother, in Toronto, but it was a choice.
Who knows? He might get a pop up there.
They do love their Hulk, but I felt that Logan Paul is just hitting on all cylinders of that douchebagness for sure.
Yeah, it's been like 3 or 4 show ups for him in a row, like entrances that he's done something super douchey, and he's embracing that now. I mean, he's coming out to the theme song saying he's humble, doing everything but that. A lot of people don't like the guy, and I understand that if you're annoyed by him and you're annoyed by his brother, but to say that he hasn't helped WWE and WWE hasn't helped him and they've done good magic together over the last couple of years, I'm excited for whatever he does at Mania. So,
all right, we have this kind of isn't a bad suggestion from Trent. I know it wouldn't be a popular choice, but I could see them putting Logan Paul with The Rock and Cena, since this group is made of people who are successful outside of the WWE. 2 very good points there.
That's a very good call. And it puts juice on whatever Logan does at Mania too,
Yeah, that's which I kind of assume is AJ.
Me too.
Unless they want to team him with Dom in a tag match or something with Every week, I'm pitching Bad Bunny versus Logan Paul with you. So maybe Dom and Logan Paul versus Ray and Bad Bunny. Yeah, that's cute.
You could even do. I hate to even suggest this, but you could even do like a heel Pat McAfee out of this if it's successful outside of wrestling. There's a lot of different ways they can go.
Oh, for the group,
yeah. Like just as like the heel announcer.
That actually could.
They don't have one right now, so
yeah, that's not the worst idea. All right,
people don't like Pat anyways. A lot of people don't. So
yeah, out 30 at the 30-minute mark, 30 minutes even. In second is Seth freaking Rollins. Again, Triple H forcing Seth down our throats. I understand it. I seem to see bitching about this every pay-per-view. Making sure that Seth arrives at that tippy-top tier level and presented at that tippy-top tier level. I get it. He's getting there, but he's just enough. He's just too much for me. The outfit last night, the outfit leading in, and I get it. But it's just not at that level. It's not at that Cena level. It's not at that Punk level. It's not at that Rock level. It's at that like Logan Paul level for me. Like with his presentation, I just feel like he's over pushed in a way.
Yeah, I mean, I think he had a good showing, as he always does. They haven't been afraid to job him out over the last year and a half. You know what I mean? But I mean, he's got to almost turn heel now, right? Like full blown. If he's going to go into a program with Reigns, if he's going to go into a program with Punk, if he's going to go into a program with both, you can't do three baby faces. And I get that they're all kind of like Rollins is like the tweener of the group, regardless. But just people don't like him. I feel like his theme is what keeps him as a babyface, and that's it. The outfits come off as more of a douchebag heel than a douchebag babyface. So he should show up on Raw on Monday and berate the crowd, and he should be a heel too.
Yeah, it's just presenting him where they present him on all these cards. Just with the biggest of the big boys. I just don't feel that he's there.
But he's somebody that out of a Mania could definitely go away for a couple months, and I think it would probably help his overall presentation.
Perhaps, but man, I'm just down on Seth as a whole. I don't know. He's just not connecting with me.
Do you think it's a thing that he's like almost like too reliable that it's like not even exciting anymore?
Yeah, it's just Triple H's guy. He's just forcing him in that spot.
Yeah.
But I will say, to his credit, he was the glue of a lot of this match. He started early and he just made sure everything flew really, really well. Right? He was, whenever there was downtime, he was the one making the movement in the ring. He had a lot of big spots. He took a lot of damage, and he was the catalyst to a lot of feuds within the ring as well. A lot of the transitions, and he had a good night from an in-ring aspect. He's always smooth and whatever. I just feel like his presence and him direction as a character is just not sticking with me.
And
the way that they push him, it's just honestly, he should be closer to the AJ Styles spot than the Roman Reigns spot on the card, in my opinion.
Yeah, did he pin Logan?
Yeah, let me just confirm that. He was eliminated by, I don't think he eliminated anyone, actually.
No, that's who pinned Logan? Was it Punk?
Yes. Punk pinned Logan and Seth Rollins.
Okay.
Yeah, and then Priest pinned.
So Rollins was first in, third to fourth out, and he didn't pin anybody. He's just kind of a guy that's there. And you're right. Like, I think if we were talking about him having matches, like obviously the Reigns stuff is good. Like they've been building that for a while, and I think that should be fun. However they put it together, but I think we'd have a lot more excitement about Rollins if he was mixing it up with like the Pentas and the Braun Breakers of the world,
It's just where I perceive him. I could be off. The biggest Seth Rollins fan, come fight me, get me. I'm fine with it. Just doesn't feel.
Yeah, and it's not like you're saying he should be in NXT. You know what I mean? No. You're still want to line him up with some high end people. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm just saying Roman Reigns versus CM Punk at WrestleMania is a much bigger match, and instead of Roman Reigns versus.
I just like it does seem like that match is happening now, but I've said this nonstop. Like, has there ever been a triple threat that doesn't have stakes? Like a contendership for something, or a title match. Like, there's got to be some juice to that, and what it ends up being, I don't know.
Maybe legacy exploding, but that was a feud that was,
right. And that was kind of that was a long-term stable that broke up, so it kind of made
there
sense.
was something there. This is just 3 guys that aren't in the main event of WrestleMania.
If it was Ambrose instead of Punk, then obviously you've got more of juice there. But not that this doesn't have juice, it will, but they'll talk their way into it. But it's weird to have a triple threat that's without stakes. So that's why I feel like there will be stakes of some sort.
All right, structure-wise, did you feel that this match was a little bit too masturbatory with the false finishes? Personally, no. It's the chamber. There's a lot on stakes. We're at dire straits, and people are at their ends of their wits. I don't feel that we were a little bit too masturbatory on the kickouts in the finisher spamming, but we were getting a little bit there.
It was mostly Punk. Like, Punk kicked out of everything, and he didn't even get pinned. He got passed out, right? So I think that it was definitely a very clear direction in this match that while Punk's not winning, they wanted to make him look as good as possible. He got the 2 eliminations. He kicked out of pretty much everything, and a lot of the other guys didn't. Like, Drew was a roll-up. Priest got the frog splash. He was out. Rollins had I think a few kickouts. Cena had a kick out of a GTS, but Punk was kicking out of everything. So I feel like I didn't mind it because it seemed like it was really only him that was, and it was really a match built that despite Punk despite Punk not winning it, he was going to come out of this still looking very good, and the finish supplanted that.
Yeah, his radar on him losing with all the kickouts and false finishes, I was like, all right, that's where he's getting his shine right there. All right, and before he was eliminated by John Cena via pass out, he was curb stomped by Seth. They did a good job of hiding Seth after the elimination, and I totally forgot about him. I was looking forward to the Cena and Punk showdown for the final 5 to 6 minutes leading into the finish, but we didn't get that. We went right into the finish, and they're holding back on that. And to Andy's point, perhaps it's going to be a heel Cena versus a babyface Punk, because we've never seen that. Like, it's always been Punk as a heel or Punk as a fellow babyface. So once we get to there, it's going to be very interesting. But I felt that they protected Punk and made Punk look very strong this night.
They did, and Punk is still fresh, to a degree. He hasn't had a ton of matches since he comes back, so it was really cool seeing him in there with Cena again. Like, they really played up the moment when he slowly turned and saw Cena in the ring. They did the fake handshake into the hug, and then Cena went for the handshake again, and Punk was done with it at that point. So I thought honestly, the thing I was most excited about going into this chamber was the eventual Punk and Cena integration, and I think they went above and beyond with all of it.
Yeah, but we never had that direct one-on-one because, there was always people lingering.
Seth would interfere with it, yeah.
So they're saving that, but they were just kind of tipping it. They tipped it in the Rumble too, but they never really gave us it. So they're building to that well as we get here. All right, we got a bunch of comments. Let's kind of catch up on them right now before we get to them. First, Living Room Refs. What up, bro? What up, buddy? I think we're going to link up soon. So look forward to that. Trent, this is a little old, but nope, sorry. This is a little old from Trent. I wonder how hard they had to sell Cena on turning heel. I don't think they had to sell him hard.
I agree. I feel like he knew it was time to do something fresh.
He perhaps suggested it, in my opinion,
Or I think he wanted to come back and do something different too. I mean,
he had to have. He had to have known it was time.
You can only sell crayon T-shirts for so long,
Yeah, and legacy-wise, like resume-wise, he knew historically he needed to go on an all-time run as a heel, and it would add to it, whatever. And it's pretty fucking cool. Jeremy Nichols, I hope we don't get Seth and Punk again. It's done, in my opinion. I think we'll get a triple threat, and I assume maybe later in the year, we'll get a one-on-one blow-off again.
Yeah, I think there's just a lot of Seth fatigue right now, and I get it.
Yeah. Well, we got it at Netflix. I think this has been in motion since Netflix, really, or before deciding to put that on Netflix. Yeah. And I don't know. I'm sure the triple threat, the non-consequential triple threat, is going to be really good. But what's the favor? Like, how does the favor play into that?
Maybe the favor is Yeah, maybe the favor's getting me in this match that is really Reigns, and it could be a bunch of different things.
All
I
right,
just hope it's not corny. I hope, and because it doesn't really sound like they had to have a plan for that either.
All right, Mark Poirier text messaged me a few live notes. So, with around the chamber, here are some of his notes. Outside of America, Paul was the biggest heel on the show. Nobody cared about Priest. Well, that's unfortunate, right? A little bit, don't you think? That's just a little unnecessary, but kind of necessary.
I mean, I love Priest. I'm a big Priest guy, but in that match, he's gonna be the one that's not as exciting.
Yeah, and this actually, I didn't read this till now, but this kind of plays into what we were just talking about. Cena and Punk were neck and neck with reactions. People were really into seeing them go again. So yeah, that's going to be huge. I wouldn't rule that out for Boston.
No, I mean, I think we said this, like, it probably fits more if Cena stays heel, but it would be weird in Boston because I think Punk would be the baby. But you can reverse Money in the Bank 2011 with these two guys, especially if it's his last show and like Punk's the champ. The thing could be Cena is going to leave with the title and he won't come back. So there's a lot they could do, and then they could turn that into the Saudi Rumble being for the belt if they have to vacate it. So that would be fun. I could see that happening.
All right, and the last one here around this match, big heat for Rollins fucking Punk, and a huge pop for when Cena won. And I was out the door for that finish. Well, my man Mark Poirier, you missed an all-time angle, you fucking Mark, pun intended. So he's going to pop when he hears that. But yeah, The Rock lived up to the hype, man. The Rock angle was there. Mike, we're going to close and move on past that. Anything more to say to that?
Like just the chamber in general?
Chamber, The Rock, Cody, Travis Scott, go fuck yourself. Like,
the go fuck yourself was awesome. Nobody saw that coming, and
no, it was incredible. It's like
we said earlier, it was the precursor for the turn because that felt like the big moment.
That felt like the moment, and it would have been. I guess that's just okay, right?
And Cole said shit too at one point. It was great. I think Cole got really mad when Cena turned, which he played up because Cena's his boy. Cole getting in the ring to check on Cody was also kind of cool. I didn't think we'll talk about it. I didn't think it was a great Michael Cole night. I think he talked too much. But I thought he was really good during the angle.
He was really good in the Kevin Owens match.
Yeah, he was. What I didn't like about him in the Kevin Owens match was he kept on telling, "Oh, you're doing something too heinous. Don't do it." And it was like you saying the same thing to both of them. I didn't like that.
Yeah, I think Punk used the favor to get the night one main event against Reigns and Rollins. His comeback goal is a Mania main event, and they teased the three-way already.
So, Justin, what is if you're still listening, what is the stakes?
Yeah, that's like, I thought, like, if Punk's going to win tonight, maybe the favor was for it's down to him and Rollins, and then Roman returns tonight and fucks Rollins, right? And then it's just like, all right, well, you want to get one back from the Rumble, from the double stomp. Now we're even because you helped me get to WrestleMania. See you down the road. Go fuck yourself. I hate you.
Right.
Because there were stakes. There was realness. Like, now it's just like, okay, so now you're in the main event and it's means nothing. We're just going to go out there and have an indie jerk-off fest. Like,
right.
That's my problem with that match.
And if they do that for a title shot, it doesn't even have to be Cody's title shot. I mean, it probably does if Reigns was to win it, but if Punk does, it could be Jey Uso,
Yeah.
Or Gunther. I don't know.
Perhaps. All right. But, kudos to, as we put a close to this, kudos to the whole chamber match leading into The Rock. No gaps, no commercials, no nothing. It just flowed perfectly. All-time moment. Best closing moment since Sammy KO at the Rumble 22, really.
Yeah, similar crowd too, size. So that fit pretty well.
And mind you, we didn't even bring this up. Cody, Rock, the watch, that's what Cena used to crack him over the head and get him all bloody. So very nice touch.
Yeah. I'm very excited with what the follow-up's going to be. So,
all right. He was listening. Punk's whole goal is to main event Mania. Beating Reigns at Mania is a big deal. Could be for a title shot.
Yeah.
Punk and Cena aftermath. Yeah, but the triple threat, it's just. Ugh.
Yeah, it's. I mean, here's the deal. If that ends up being the match, or it looks like it's going to be, it'll be good, right? But
I would trust them. It's just wonky getting us here. All right. As we're watching this live, Mike Cena is sitting down backstage at the chamber. If anyone in the chat would like to fill us in what they would do, that would be appreciated. And we'll add it to the show here. Yeah. And as we move past this, Trent, you're right. That may be the shortest promo The Rock has ever cut. No doubt.
did he say the dream will die again? Like, was that referencing Dusty? Was I too deep with that? Because when did the Cody dream die before? Like when he first lost to Reigns, Rock wasn't involved in that.
Yeah. I don't know.
The Rock is such a slimy, dark, twisted freak right now. It's great.
Sick freak. All right, but speaking of sick fucking freaks, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, unsanctioned match. My fucking God. Mike Rossi, 27 minutes, 35 seconds. It felt about 17. You know, they did not overstay their welcome. They got the walking brawl out of the way early. They had spot on top of spot, and they're not spotty. It wasn't spotty. It was all fluent. It built into the stakes of the match. It built into the personal grudge, and it was just awesome.
What I loved about this is a spot that they do in Money in the Banks a lot. When KO set up the two tables on top of each other, like pretty early on in the match, right? Maybe inside the first 10 minutes. And then they went and brawled around the arena. You forgot those fucking tables were there until Sammy was going through it, that was the moment in the match, like before they pulled out the barbed wire chair, that I literally almost jumped out of my seat because I did not expect those tables to be there when something that at home you don't see. Like that's probably not as exciting for the live crowd because you're staring at those tables the whole time. But the way that Sammy launched through those two and that area of the ring, and we talked about it earlier today, like ever since the JD McDonough injury, everything that happens near that announce table side scares me. So when that happened on top of those two tables, that got a legitimate pop out of me, and it was very well done because you forgot those things were there.
Yeah, just the violence, right? Even the violence on the walking brawl. They had a table with. I love the concessions. Like it was, there's concessions to the side, and it just adds to, the optics of the fucking the table exploding and the popcorn and the soda going.
Yeah,
everywhere.
Both of those bump look like they suck. The KO ones.
This whole match looked like it sucked. They're feeling it right now. How about Kevin Owens? The ladder match with Cody in this, coming into a new contract.
Yeah, there's not many people that do that, but that's what he does.
Your boy is cooking for sure. But Mike, the gnarliest spot, low key, the chair with the barbed wire placed over it.
Yeah.
When he hit that fisherman on it, it looked like there was no give, no bounce. And it looked like a big fuck you to the spine. It was fucking gory, and it just built with the violence.
Yeah, the only thing I didn't like about this match was the fucking lighting.
I thought it added to it. It added to the unsanctionedness. I
get that. Like I'm not gonna fully fight it, but I think I still have some of that Bray Wyatt woo-woo GBs to me about when they used to do the lights out for the weird matches. I don't know. It's just a little too wonky for me, but to your point, I understand why they did it. Kind of like, I think AEW does those lights out matches. It's kind of the same deal, right?
Yeah. Well, it's like an homage to the past, right?
Yeah.
Empty arena, all that stuff. And honestly, I thought Cole was his exaggerations and his angst and he was playing into the friendship a lot of these guys. Don't do it. What are we?
Yeah. What are you guys doing?
Energy all night was just.
I loved Barrett during this match. I feel like he did a lot of explaining. I feel like McAfee wasn't.
Yeah, he added to it in the ooze, he knew his lane.
He kind of let Barrett do his thing, and I thought Barrett was very good.
No doubt. All right, from Mark here. The no DQ, both guys got good responses. The crowd picked up as the violence did. That's very good for sure. I can see that. and that they're doing the job. Awesome live match. Orton had the biggest pop of the night. People really missed him. And
Can you text him while we're on here and ask him how are the sight lines live for a chamber in a baseball stadium? Because I felt like at times, I know I'm a little off the KO topic, but we still talk about the women's match. I feel like both chamber matches had like lulls with the crowd, and I'm thinking unless you're really close to the ring or you're looking into the ring, maybe you're just not seeing everything that's going on,
Yeah, it's kind of like shrunk. The ring's like shrunk a little bit by the structure, right?
And there's like pillars and shit in the corners,
Yeah, no, sure. I asked them. But overall, those guys hit it out of the park. I'll rewatch it. I don't think it's 5 for me. I don't like, because for me to go 5, it's like I got to know right away. I got to feel it right away. And I felt that it built really strong. It delivered really well. It was 27 minutes and it did not feel like 27 minutes, which is huge. I was never disinterested or bored watching it. I felt that I just don't, and I was invested, right? I kind of wanted Kevin to win, but I started feeling for Sammy. I felt for both guys with the violence. So it did its job. I just don't feel that it got to that 5 for me.
Would you have liked it more if Orton interfered and cost KO the match?
No, I would have liked it. I would have liked it less. I would have liked it less. We got a decisive finish, and I really dug that, right?
Okay, so, yeah, I'm with you on that. I was just curious your thoughts.
I like that, by the way. I like that Kevin had him finished, right? Brought him to the outside, continuously beat him up, and then kind of rolled him in at the 27-minute mark for an easy pinfall. Like he didn't like.
Yeah, the second attempt at the apron power bomb didn't go that well. It kind of played up how beat up Sammy was, but that
plays into it. It's been a 25-minute fucking slugfest, right? So. Yeah. And they're just in the kickouts, in the way the match built, it wasn't like finisher spam either. It was just hellacious spot after hellacious spot built up to it. Like they didn't bastardize their finishers whatsoever. Right. The haluva kick kind of low-key got me a little bit too, even though I knew better, right? But
yeah.
It was just built strong. It delivered. It was violent. It was gory, and it was just kick ass, man. Awesome.
There was a couple. I mean, after that spot through the barbed wire chair, I was like, shit, Sammy's gonna win this. But then it's like, oh no, we're still gonna go another 8 minutes after this.
Yeah, I'm with Trent here. Trent says 4.5 for the KO Sammy, 4 for the Chambers, and 2.5 for the women's tag. Yeah, it sounds about, maybe I'm a little higher on the men's than the women's, but I thought we'll get to the women's in a second. So yeah, overall, that final half of the pay-per-view, the men's chamber KO and the Rock Cody segment, electric stuff. It felt like we were on for WrestleMania. All right, Mike, Sami Zayn, is he out for Mania? In my preview with Snug, he said he made a prediction that one of these guys will not make WrestleMania. We are 7 weeks out. What say you?
I think that he will be involved in Mania for sure, whether that's, helping Orton, which I don't think they should do because obviously that should just be a punt finish, right? It would really suck if he wasn't involved in Mania. If they do a multi-man for bronze title, like you don't even have to have him on TV. You could just throw him in that night, get the big pop,
Yeah, you have that, surprise entry at WrestleMania, right? And then it's Sammy. I like that, right? And he won the Intercontinental title last year. You don't have to explain much. It's actually a cute idea, right? So,
I mean, he should be off TV. I mean, if you're gonna do that, he shouldn't be on TV until then.
Yeah. Actually, that's what I would do. Say we have that 4, 5, 6-man match at WrestleMania. I would easily. I think that's actually a pretty good call to keep him off. Have a bunch of qualifying matches, whatever, and then you have one open spot. Adam Pearce says, you'll find out at WrestleMania, and then it's Sami Zayn. Like actually really into that. That's
because the thing too is like he wasn't cleared going into this match, so he really should be off TV until then at the earliest. And whether he comes, I'd rather him get pigeonholed into a match like that than just involve himself back in the KO match, because then if Orton gets the decisive win over KO, then do we just go right back to KO and Sammy? And I feel like we shouldn't,
Yeah. All right. Poirier sent me a picture, but it's not translating that I can upload to the stream. So that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
It's a bad file. But to answer his question, he said deadly, I thought. And the way it looks at it, yeah, pretty good. You can no harm, no foul. You can there's my bootleg version of the picture right there. So
and he had good seats, but you can definitely see that like there's probably some sightline issues.
Yeah. Yeah, not bad at all, right? So all right, Mike. All right, sorry. All right, Trish and Tiffy versus Nia and Candice LeRae. This came in at 11 minutes and 40 seconds. Probably 6 minutes too long, but I get it.
It felt like if we thought the KO match felt shorter than it was, this one felt a lot longer than 11 minutes.
This felt like a totally fine SmackDown match, but I understand.
And I thought Tiff looked really good, especially on the closing sequence.
Yeah.
But just like, I don't know, Nia and Candice working over Trish in the corner for 5 minutes. Just that, yeah.
It was a house show match.
Yeah.
I did say Candice moonsault to break up the pin, but hitting Nia looked pretty good. I like that the closing sequence where Nia took continuous beating to wear her down, and then the Trish Bulldog leading into the moonsault, and then the pinfall was cute. Like I thought
they could have done this match on SmackDown, and I don't think anybody would have cared.
It built well for what it was. It's fine. Like two and a half stars.
I think that Tiff did a better job as a babyface here than she has been. I think both nights, and the crowd obviously being behind Trish both nights helped, and obviously having her go against Chelsea, who berated Canada, although she's from there, on Friday worked. So I thought it was a pretty good advancement with Tiff this weekend. And she needed that because she was left lying for Charlotte 2 weeks in a row. And I thought that we needed a big Tiff weekend. A lot of people were alluding to maybe Trish turning on her here. I'm so glad they didn't do that. Because Tiff just had to come out of this looking like more of a babyface. And if that was the main goal of this match, then I think that they hit the home run there.
Yeah, and ultimately the goal was to kind of present Tiffany as a bigger star leading into the WrestleMania match with Charlotte, and perhaps to get Tiffany over coming out of WrestleMania as well, because I think she's as of right now, I feel that she's probably going to lose to Charlotte.
Yeah, and I like that they didn't use Charlotte in this either, because you used Jade in the first match, you used Orton in the KO match, and you did the Rock stuff after. So I like that this was just getting Tiff a win with Trish in Trish's hometown, and then they can do the follow-up on Friday.
Yep. All right, Andy's got a comment here for us. Maybe it was the way it came across on TV, but I thought the pop for Trish wasn't as big as I thought it would be. So let me see do you agree with that? Do you recall it? I don't know if
I thought that this was a very come down moment for the crowd. Which brings me to my next question. Do you think now that the show's over, would you have changed the match order at all?
No, because I don't think KO and Sammy, I don't think it would have got any better being first.
Right, I agree.
And I wouldn't have.
And the Tiff match might have suffered more after the KO match.
Yeah, and I wouldn't have put that first. Like I would not put that's a shitty way to start the show. Like legit, no one wants it. Here's Poirier's comment on the live experience from Tiff, right? Here's the women's tag match report. I went to merch in a piss. It was a good finish. It was a good finish though. So yeah, he agreed with the finish.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of a painful 7-8 minutes, but Tiff brought it home good. So I think that like I said, if their goal was to get Trish more over as a babyface, I think it worked.
All right, and that would lead to the Women's Chamber opening the show. Out first, Naomi. Well, starting first, Naomi with Liv Morgan. I thought it was excellent the way that they led this into here with the ding ding ding, and then Jade's music hit, and then she did a fantastic job, Liv Morgan, that is, of being like, it wasn't me, like, but fuck, like, I had my opportunity to go to WrestleMania, and Liv Morgan set the tone of an excellent night for her. In my opinion, I thought she was excellent in this match from a wrestling aspect, from setting things up. And if Seth Rollins was the glue for the men's match, she was the glue for the women's match. I thought she was excellent all night, but it started here early with Jade coming out. Like, I really loved what they did here. What do you think?
Loved it. I thought Jade looked absolutely ridiculously good coming out, like comically good, how good she looked. You know what I mean? Like, she just comes out, she had that pissed off smile on her face, muscles on top of muscles. I wouldn't want to get in her way. And even when she gets in the ring, like Naomi, even at that moment, still felt comfortable with it because she thought she was going to have to live, right? But boy, Bianca's reaction was fucking awesome. Like kicking and screaming, like she was so shocked that Naomi did that, which is the good way to do it because now, you know, if we go back to that moment, Naomi did the attack. Bianca was in the ring when it happened, so they can easily say Bianca knew nothing about it. Naomi goes full blown heel. Bianca feuds with Rhea on Raw. They're going to be separated. You know, Naomi and Jay can do their thing on SmackDown. So I thought that this was a killer way to do it. And I loved how they opened the show with that. And they didn't like have her come in 10 minutes into the match, you know?
Naomi's low-key on a really good stretch here for her anyways on the SmackDown side of thing. There's no way that we're getting a Naomi versus Jade like singles match at WrestleMania, are we?
The only reason I'm thinking that it could happen is it should be like 90 seconds long, you know? But it feels like that could be like some of the, we talked about it this afternoon. They have a 3-hour SmackDown the night before Mania. There's going to be matches that end up on that instead of the Mania.
So,
this could be one of them.
So are we going to get like a WrestleMania 6 Akeem Big Bossman blow off and it's 35 seconds? Is that what we're going to get?
If Jay, despite me agreeing with you that Naomi's on a pretty good run from Naomi standards right now, Jade, if Jade is a singles match with Naomi, which Naomi should be off TV for a little bit too, because Jade was fucking brutal with closing the door on her. She has to sell that too, but
she's got to shut your job. So yeah,
Jade should kill her whenever they do the match too.
I know. I would like to see Naomi's like reaction coming out of this, right? Because it's hard to come back. Well, first of all, it's not hard to come. Like, is there another? How do I put this? Is there another hat to drop here? Like, is there another pivot to take? And then maybe is there miscommunication? Maybe she misunderstood wrong or whatever. But is it 100% Naomi? Was there an accomplice? Is there someone that helped her? Did someone feed her? Did someone set Naomi up with Jade? Like, there's still a lot to come out of this. Perhaps, maybe Naomi isn't fully to blame because she's kind of in a sympathetic spot right here, right? If you think about it, all right, let's put it, the bitch got what she deserved, right? From a storyline aspect. But like,
my question with this is, so is Jade really going to be treated like a babyface by the crowd?
She got the pop. But
that was the return pop.
No, I know, but the reaction to the beatdown was also well received, right?
Right.
And that was well, here's the thing: was that babyface power in the beatdown, or was that like a heel reaction? Like, what was that? I took it as babyface comeuppance.
Yeah, because obviously, if Naomi took her out, she should be positioned as the heel, but she's pretty over. She's got her entrance is over. And Jade, she's been tied to Bianca, so I don't know how over she is. So that's going to be kind of a fun subplot. They completely missed on how they thought the Charlotte thing was going to go. They clearly thought she was going to be a babyface at first. That didn't work. So we'll see how the Jade reactions go. I mean, she just has to come out and tell her story, and she should be the babyface, but a lot of people don't like her.
Well, here's the livery aspect from Mark. People love the Jade beatdown goodbye song for Naomi. So
okay. So
those Canadian perverts will sing for anything. So
and it's kind of there was travel crowd to an extent. So we'll see how it does when they're in. I think they're in Philly on
Monday, right?
Friday. So we'll see how a Philly crowd takes to Jade.
All right, Andy here again. Could be come up. It's that Bianca was the mastermind behind this Jade attack. She had Naomi take out Jade. Perhaps.
I would get into that if Bianca didn't just win a match to go start a feud with Rhea.
Yeah. It feels that would feel like more of a setup than not. But let's kind of just talk about this chamber match real quick before we get out of here, Mike. Bailey, Naomi out first from the beatdown from Jade Cargill, 0 minutes in the match. Bailey out second. I didn't mind it. I liked it. I preferred her out second over Roxanne. Bailey eliminated at the 19-minute and 5-second mark. My feelings on Bailey. I understand her role. I just feel that she's constantly over pushed and, gives a B- at best delivery on her push. Just my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. She's never bad, right? Like she's always like pretty
Never
good. She's
exciting
also
though.
never fantastic. You know
She's
what I
never
mean? So
exciting.
she's good to have in a match like this because she probably was the one calling most of it, right? When you look at the people in it.
Liv.
but then Liv's was such a good performance, as she has for the last 6 months.
But Bailey was out next, yes.
Yeah.
No, Bailey entered. Bianca was out after the Jade
Who
attack.
pinned Bailey?
Liv Morgan.
Liv. So, Liv's a superstar. I think that nobody looks bad.
She was the MVP of the night.
Right. I don't think anybody looks bad losing in an elimination chamber.
No.
So I think at the end of the day, Bailey did her job.
I don't know. To me, she stuck out as, the least interesting in here. I thought Roxanne out here entered fourth, was eliminated third at the 23-minute and 5-second mark, eliminated by Alexa Bliss. I thought Roxanne looked really well. She had a lot of fire. I thought she moved extremely well. She looked extremely athletic. She was smooth. She was the Seth Rollins of this match, just like butter, like just cruising. Really, I thought she looked very impressive. And her future's so bright. 23 years old, man. That's crazy.
And not only is her future bright, but I think she's shown enough now as a heel that she can stay as a heel until they're ready to put her into something when she needs to be a baby. And I feel like that's when she'll really take off. But she's somebody that I think the kids will really get into when she's a baby face. So she's 23. Just don't rush things with her.
She got some shit to her as a heel though. Like
she does. And when she started, like people didn't love it, but she's really crushed it over the last year. I thought the NXT reign was one of the better ones. We talked about that when we did year-end awards. Like I think the world of Roxanne, and I'm super excited to see her up. But she's somebody that I don't feel like they have to rush to get her into like this big Mania program because I don't really know that you can only put so many of them on the show, right? So if she gets like a cool spot with that SmackDown before, maybe there ends up being something with multi-women tags or something. I'm just happy she's up. I feel like most of what she's going to get from here, she had a great Rumble. She had a great chamber. So if she's not fully included in the Mania, it wouldn't really break my heart because I feel like coming out of Mania, she's going to be high on the card.
All right. You know who she reminds me of? She reminds me of a 2016 Alexa Bliss, where she has that spunkiness of a little kick-ass bullshit heel, but she has the charisma of like a I don't want to say a giant, but like her charisma is so much bigger than her presence is so much bigger than her stature. She wrestles much bigger and ferocious than she is. She has character, like her facials, her character, and her presence really is bigger than she is. And Alexa Bliss benefited from a very lackluster roster at the time, and her push was like probably way higher than her projection. And Roxanne's projection is extremely high, but the roster is kind of so stacked, and for her to break through that glass ceiling would be extremely hard in the here and the now. but I wouldn't rule it out. Like, they're behind her. She's performing well, and she really showed out tonight. I thought she was awesome. Her and Liv were just like the rock stars of this match from a work rate standpoint.
Yeah, and she just looks the part too. Like
Yeah.
she is, whether she's doing heel or she's doing baby, the crowd knows, right? She reacts well, and the facial expressions, everything she does in a match, you would think that she was one of the biggest vets in this match, let alone 23 years old, you know?
Yep. All right. Alexa Bliss out here entered 6th, out eliminated the 25-35 minute mark. I thought when she entered, she got a big pop, but she was a little light on her strikes. It was just because Liv and Roxanne, like I've been gushing, glowing about all night, and especially Belair, I'll get to her in a minute, were nice and snug. Everything was tight, transitioned well. Alexa got in there a little loose, not hasn't been in a ring in a while. Saw a lot of light on the strike, a lot of lightness on the strikes. Perhaps like the transition spot, she was a little bit out of place. But before Trent comes at me in the comments, I thought that her star power shined extremely bright. And once she got settled into the match, she found a groove and she had a pretty good night as well. I believe she had an elimination. Yeah, she eliminated Roxanne.
She looked incredible. As far as like, you know, I mean, she's hotter than hell. Like we can all say that. When she came out of the cage, she looked completely crazy, which fits because obviously they're leaning more towards the Wyatt of her, even if it's just to do it for a couple months and get rid of it, you know, whatever they decide to do. But clearly she's still using Sister Abigail. Clearly she still is demented in some way. That's the part that, you know, I'll never tell someone, you know, it's wonky if she wants to come back and honor a friend that died since she was last with us.
Yeah,
you
she's
know what I
got
mean?
this business and she's got to, you know.
So, I mean, her and Nikki Cross, I'm assuming, end up as a tag team against Liv. I mean, this is again, Liv eliminated Alexa, right?
Yes.
And she eliminated her in the Rumble too. So
as well. So there's got to be some underlining tag team match. Maybe that's the tag team match with Nikki Cross.
Yeah.
I assume it's going to be multi-woman, but you know, with those Raw champion or those tag team champions, a Raw superstar can go to SmackDown and so on and so forth. So that could be a nice gateway to get that match to happen because you kind of think it's going to happen. They definitely have energy together that vibes for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of the Priest Drew thing. There's no coincidence that Liv threw Alexa out of the Rumble and then eliminated her from the Chamber. So she took her WrestleMania moment away twice. So then whenever Alexa gets Uncle Howdy'd or whatever the hell they do, she's going to bring her twisted mind right back to Liv. And I think it's probably really good for both of them. Look at Liv. Like, we're going to praise Liv to the high heavens. She just needs to get on Mania. She wasn't on Mania last year. She came back to Raw after.
Oh, I think she'll be on Mania.
With the year that she's had, however it works, I don't even care. Just get her on the show. She's going to crush whatever moment she's in. I mean, I look back at our when me, you, and Rocco used to do what was it, clotheslines and headlines.
Yeah,
we were the ones like, I don't see it with Liv. And he was always like, wait, we do. She's a Jersey girl. Rocco, if you're listening to this, you were right. It took her a while to come into her own, but she's crushing it right now. And if her and Alexa's the path they go in any form, I'm in.
Yeah, she was in her bag tonight. You know, career night for Liv Morgan, honestly. I knew he was going to come for me. Ryan, how dare you? And I agree with you. Just like you said, ring rust is still there. Well, Trent, go knock off that ring rust for her, buddy.
Liv, and back to Liv. That Raw main event was fucking awesome. And to think that she followed that up with a performance tonight.
Oh, yeah, great call.
Just you do your top 5 lists, Ryan. She might be in there twice this week, you know?
Yeah, right. All right, here's some Cena press conference feedback. John Cena walked into the press conference, dropped the mic, and leaves.
Okay.
Yeah, this is that's cool. Good shit right there.
Especially playing off what happened with the Rumble when he talked a lot.
So yeah, it was like I called my shot at the Rumble. Fuck you guys, right? My heart is torn. Ooh.
It won't just be your heart that's torn, Trent.
Oh, Trent, I love it. All right, Bianca Belair, your favorite coming into here, and I'm glad she won. Mike, I want 101. I want Rhea versus Belair. They're pillars of NXT. They're called up. They were instantly rocketed. I feel that it's the match that has been building. It's the match that's warranted. And Io Sky is just a speed bump, in my opinion. I don't feel when we had the stare off between Rhea and Io as Bianca was heading back, or as we had the stare off between Belair and Rhea when Belair was heading back, Io inserted herself. It just didn't feel like I understand. Like it would feel like a 3-way if it was like a Roxanne or a Bailey or even a Bliss, not Belair. Belair versus Rhea needs to happen 1-on-1.
Right. And I really like though that they brought Io out for it because it's not ignoring that the match is happening on Monday, right? Yeah. And at the end of the day, I don't think it's going to be a triple threat because I think Bianca and Rhea has been something that they were saving to go to, and they're not going to muddy it up and making it a triple threat. And you know, Io, if you want to get Io on Mania, you do a multi-person tag, her and Dakota. If Dakota can stay healthy between now and then.
Oh, geez, that felt unnecessary. But yeah, she can find herself in that match with, or Mike, even a Lyra. She can face Lyra. Perfect. They had that great Raw match a month or so ago in the tournament. If we don't get Becky,
yeah, that was my next question. Where the hell is Becky?
I honestly thought, Mike, I honestly thought we might get Becky to replace Naomi when the chamber.
Yeah.
I thought that I told that to my kids and the people that were over. I said I wouldn't rule out if Becky came out right now because the chamber's open. We've seen that happen historically. Naomi is not able to go. Becky replaced her, but we didn't get that. But yeah, MVP of the night, Liv Morgan in this match. But Belair, don't let that shine off Belair. She was really, really strong in this match as well. Great power stuff. Not that hard with a lot of all those small girls in there, right? But I thought her transitions were great. She was a great base for Roxanne and a lot of cool moves. Honestly, Liv is as well. The transitions were cool. The roll-ups, the reversals. It wasn't finisher spam, which I don't necessarily love, but I thought the layout was extremely well because in these chambers, you have roll-ups all the time. So it plays into that as well. So the girls totally outkicked their coverage. One of the best girl chamber matches in a while. Because I always kind of ladder the Royal Rumbles, Money in the Bank, ladder matches, even cage matches for the women. I kind of always shit on because they're kind of a little too light for the structures, not to be a dick. They're a little too physically small for all these structures of ladders and stuff like that. That wasn't the case tonight. You know, they played into it. They used their athleticism around the structure. And them being sleek didn't really bug me in a structure like this, where before it kind of hampered and showed light and was a little wonky, right? I didn't get that tonight.
Right. And to your point, like obviously the guys hit everything a little bit harder. It just sounds more impactful. But they still made Liv is a lunatic. Like she, between Bianca swinging her through the plexiglass back into the cage, like there's not many women that would take those, and Liv did it with a smile on her face. So again, can't put over Liv enough. And as we start thinking about Rhea and Bianca, what's your excitement level?
Pretty high. I don't think it's going to remain event at WrestleMania. I don't think it should. But I feel that it can be in that Bailey spot from last year, night 2, semi-main, or it could be in the Rhea spot to open up a WrestleMania from last year and be totally acceptable and outkick its coverage in either spot. So
right.
I feel that there's a lot there. I don't think that the Jade return with Naomi is going to really cloud too much of the Rhea match. Perhaps it may spill into it and cost Belair, perhaps. But honestly, this is exactly what Rhea needs.
They've only had 2 singles matches in their careers.
Both in NXT, right?
Yeah, one was early in NXT, 2019.
And then the other one was Portland, right? Portland.
Yeah, NXT Portland.
Wow, fucking pulling it right there, boys.
Rhea's 2-0. So we'll see if they play that up in the build because they've been playing that up with Io. Rhea's never beaten Io, so
yeah. I wouldn't mind a full babyface build either. I'm not mad at that, whatever. And then perhaps we get like a Nakamura situation where Belair comes up short and kind of goes nuts.
Yeah, and then maybe it can come out that she was tied into Naomi.
Yeah, she's the mastermind, perhaps, right?
Yeah.
Or that spills into this match, and that's a way to get the belt off Rhea as well, maybe.
Yeah.
All right, Mark's live report here. People were into Liv, but were happy with Bianca winning, and that's kind of how
It's fair.
I agree too.
Yeah, because nobody I mean, people can be behind Liv, but like I'm very behind Liv right now, but I don't want her to win this match because I don't want to see her and Rhea again.
All right,
So Bianca's a good fit.
All right, 2 comments for Trent here. This is an oldie, but I was saving it towards the end. Do y'all think Trish sticks around and gets a Mania match, or this is it for her? I could see them doing Trish and Steph in Chelsea. I agree. Trish and Steph, Chelsea would be a really fun Mania match. And Mike, I know you're going to say perhaps it would land on SmackDown before Mania. I don't think that's bad, but I could definitely see it making Mania, and that's a pretty good program for the U.S. women's title.
The question is, okay, there's probably 14, 15 Mania matches spread over the 2 nights. We're going to have Charlotte and Tiffy. We're going to have Rhea and Bianca from the looks of it. Then if you have tag titles, so you're already at 3. Then is Becky coming back? If Becky comes back, is she working Lyra?
I don't think she's
after
back,
Mania.
Man. I don't think she's back. I think
Jade,
we might potentially get 6 women's matches.
Jade and Bianca. I mean, I'm sorry, Jade and Naomi. That could happen. Chelsea and whoever. Trish is a good idea. Nikki Bella is a good idea. Somebody completely different is a good idea.
Nikki Bella, you're begging for that.
No, but she's a superstar. Like, she's a bigger star than Trish is. She is, not in the world, not as a wrestler, but in the world.
Yeah, in the world for sure, but it's close.
Her and Chelsea would be fun.
Well, you kind of answered Trent's last question. Which women's match has the biggest potential to steal the show at WrestleMania? Belair Rhea or Tiffany Charlotte? That's actually a really good question. My gut would tell me Belair and Rhea, just because that's a big stage for Tiffany to go on for the first time. Not that Charlotte couldn't get her there, right?
But how often is Charlotte gonna wrestle between now and then too?
Maybe,
you know what I mean?
2, maybe 1.
So that's when it's like this is Charlotte, who's worked a Rumble. I believe in her. I trust her to go out there and put a banger out there. But Rhea and Bianca are high-end WrestleMania performers. So I expect them to especially be super excited to work together too. Because it's been, that TakeOver show was what, 2020, pre-COVID? Yeah, I think it was February 2020. So it's been 5 years since they've had this match. So I think they've been waiting for it. I think they're going to rip it up.
Yeah. All right, Mike, we're at the end here. Overall, good show. Trent, one last comment. I think it's at this point we're going to hold off Becky till the Raw after WrestleMania. Kind of agree.
Yeah, because as you pace out, like we just went through, 2, probably 3 guaranteed women's matches. Jade and Bianca Jade and Naomi probably happening at some point, right? That's 4. That would probably be right up there with the most women's matches ever. And I can appreciate it because I want to see more of them. But Becky, it just seems like she'd be a better fit after Mania at this point.
Yeah, no doubt. But Mike, overall, 8.5, 9 out of 10. Like, I thought it got an all-time closing angle. We got an all-time match with Kevin and with Sammy. The girls tag, whatever, but both Chambers match were excellent. Man, yeah, 8.5, 9 out of 10. I thought it was a very, very good WrestleMania. And finally, the road to WrestleMania is getting juicy because it's been a little tough month between the Rumble and Chamber.
Yeah, we got 3 official matches now, and they're all big.
4.
4. I guess we just don't know what's going to happen with EO yet. But
my bad.
But yeah, I mean, it's 4 good title matches that we probably felt them all coming, but we're not going to get to them the way that we expected to. When we first heard Cena Cody, this wasn't in the front of our minds. So I agree. I think that if you take that closing angle out, you're probably more in the 7s, but which is still good. But that angle's an all-timer. So yeah, I think we're closer to a 9 than a 7 at this point.
Yeah, like I'm pretty like I'll seem to lean towards the middle, but for me to go that high is it's gonna mean something. You know, you get the all-time match, the all-time moment, and nothing disappointed. And you had an 11-minute fine match that was annoying.
And
Whatever.
yeah, the thing too is like you go into this match, this show tonight, and you're thinking about what's going to get set up for Mania. Women's chamber, we got closer to Alexa and Liv and whatever incarnation. You got the who attacked Jade figured out. You got
we
Bianca
barely talked
Rhea
about Randy
out.
Orton returning.
Right. And then you got Orton KO set up. You got Tiff looking better for her match with Charlotte. The men's match, you got Priest and McIntyre. You got Punk, Seth, and probably Reigns. Logan can now move towards whatever he's going to do. So we got through this show. Not that it was a chore to get through, but now I feel like Rumble, we were talking about, we're on the road to WrestleMania, but we have an extra 3 weeks than normal this year. Now we're, 7 weeks out? It's go time. And now the TV is going to feel like we're on the road to WrestleMania when it's kind of been in neutral.
And Mike, add in the fucking crazy crowds from across the pond that like we're getting Raw at like 3:30, 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Right.
It's gonna be
SmackDown's going to be a bummer because we'll have results out, but they're a little bit easier to hide when they're out of the country too sometimes.
Yeah, just stay off Twitter. You know, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
But overall, yeah, very, very successful night at the Elimination Chamber. I'm ready for WrestleMania season. I'm looking forward to it. We have a lot coming up here on the North-South Connection, including this Tuesday or the Tuesday after, Mike.
I think it's going to be this Tuesday. I still don't have a name, but I will be launching a new pod on Tuesday. Probably this Tuesday, maybe the Tuesday after, but regardless. Just if you didn't listen to our preview of Chamber, it's just going to pretty much be current wrestling, a hodgepodge of everything, whatever news is at the time. I'll talk about whatever I watched that week and have an opinion on. And then there will be some interviews down the road with some indie names of sorts. I'm not going to go crazy on that, but I'm going to use the connections I have with some of them to try to bring some different content out. I know we kind of already have the indie interview set up with I can't think of his name.
Ben.
But Ben, he does a great job, so I'm not going to step on that. But got a couple friends that I can talk. I can bring in somebody. We might even talk about Raw that week. Who knows? Yeah. But it's gonna be a fun stretch. I've been looking forward to do it for a while. We're probably gonna be audio to start, but we'll end up. These guys will be making me doing clips on YouTube before we know it. So,
all right, guys, it was fun. Check out Rossi's stuff, and we'll see you on the next. Later.